Now, I've said this before and I'll say it again, the main reason why Deadpool and Wolverine is going to be an above-average film, if not one of the greater Marvel movies in recent years, is the fact that we have had people like Ryan Reynolds, director Shawn Levy, Hugh Jackman, and even writers Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick taking a stand against the Disney heads, against those like Bob Iger, and even Kevin Feige over at Marvel Studios, to really get things done their way, and to have them to cooperate with how things should be done throughout the entirety of the film, the third act reshoots, which by the way are just about finished. We'll talk more about that later on in the week, so stay tuned about that. However, when it all dwindles down to She-Hulk actress Tatiana Maslany, this is where things begin to get out of hand when it comes to the Deadpool and Wolverine production and what's going on with everything related to Ryan Reynolds. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You could also follow me at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. Now, one thing about this is that we know that there's a lot of things going on with the MCU right now. Now, like I said before, I do believe that Deadpool and Wolverine, given that it has far less DEI elements getting thrown into it currently than any other Marvel movie that has been driven by that in recent times, which could very well put it up there on the status of Avengers Endgame, or even, of course, Spider-Man No Way Home, stuff like that. You know, I'm not saying it's going to get box office numbers per se, that's not a guarantee, but I think it's going to be on that status level of the satisfaction, right, from fans, how beloved it's going to be across the board, essentially. So, we know that 2025 is going to be full of expensive failures, that's one thing. However, alright, with, of course, Bob Iger and the board in a constant shakeup due to multiple reasons, one major development now has much to do with Marvel Studios and the ongoing drama for Deadpool and Wolverine, after Ryan Reynolds and crew have been making many alterations to the film. Now, one crucial update to this situation now also involves She-Hulk actress Tatiana Maslany, yet again, as she continues to battle Ryan Reynolds after she was fired and removed from Deadpool and Wolverine, and various promotional pieces that were going to use She-Hulk. Now, a shocking turn of events to this situation now involves how Tatiana recently delivered the following after getting removed/fired from Deadpool and Wolverine. I just feel that we need more Marvel films that really focus away from the patriarchy. I mean, I'm a woman and I'm proud of it, but they often get the loose end in their career, especially with action films in Marvel, to be specific. And I blame part of that to Bob Iger, who doesn't really truly understand how to organize the importance of female leads. I really can't say what I was supposed to star in, but I had many projects lined up that went south recently, all because of the type of reception that we got for She-Hulk and how we blew our budget for season 2. Because of that, and to the loud fans that had no clue what they were talking about, I missed out on numerous projects that I was initially promised, and yes, I blame much of that on the fandom. Specifically ones that are seemingly trying to remain resistant to female roles, taking over male roles. They had their shot for so many years in the Marvel Universe, and I think it's just time that we have more characters, like She-Hulk, Captain Marvel, Ironheart, and among others, that I can keep going on about to be the focus. I just truly believe that we live in an era where fans are genuinely scared of their male icons vanishing from female roles, and that is a weakness that I think they need to focus on and to fix. She-Hulk had so much potential, whether it be cameos or major roles. We had conversations about both of those things, and Kevin Feige was excited too. But studio differences and creative differences happen far too often in this industry, and for all the wrong reasons as well. It's just a damn shame that so many men are obviously misogynists and don't want anything to do with women in the MCU. This has been a problem from day one of the MCU and why they have been absent from so many major roles for so long. Let me just say this, there is a silent majority that love She-Hulk, that truly live up to those like Captain Marvel that were afraid to speak up, and because of their silence, they are no longer getting those characters for a very long time, if not ever. I say characters like Thor, Wolverine, Iron Man, Hulk, Captain America, and others I have, of course, had their fair share. They've all had their fair share in comic book movies, and it's quite insulting that the women get the bad rap just because. So, let me say one thing about Tatiana before I move on, about what she's spewing here. Now, this is obviously her way of coping after getting fired from Deadpool and Wolverine for the various cameos, as well as the turn off your cell phone spot that was going to be in movie theaters, where both Deadpool and She-Hulk were going to break the fourth wall. And hey, look, here's the debate. Sure, that makes sense. That's in the lore. That's in the source material. Both Deadpool and She-Hulk, they do break the fourth wall. That's in their nature. It's part of the characters. I get that. But at the same exact time, the reason why they got rid of that was that Tatiana was stirring things up behind the scenes. There were cringeworthy lines of dialogue. They weren't being executed correctly by herself as an actress, to the point where the acting was that bad. And look, Tatiana may be good in other things, and that's fine, but for the MCU, she just does not fit the role for She-Hulk whatsoever. And Ryan wanted nothing to do with that kind of baggage, from especially the criticism that She-Hulk got, a couple of years ago, basically. A lot of things, come across with that series. So many people have different reactions to it, and most of them are negative. Let's just say that. But what's interesting about this is that there's a lot of things going on right now with the Marvel Universe. Now, do I believe that Deadpool and Wolverine is going to save the MCU? Well, not so fast. I mean, we have a lot of things happening in 2025 that need to either be fixed quickly or addressed as soon as possible, because so far Captain America 4 is already looking to be a dumpster fire for several reasons that we've talked about. Fantastic Four is already getting DEI elements shoehorned in there in a less vague way this time. And let's not even get started on Blade 2025. We'll have a lot more to talk about that next week. So, moving on forward, alright, she goes on to continue, Feige was never about any kind of an agenda, as fans tend to claim, and this is just a narrative that they like to create so that they are prepared with a creative argument on their end. The toxic male demographic exists, and it's a very real thing that needs to be addressed and rightfully handled by the studio heads, because more often than not, studios like Disney, I think, don't understand a silent majority exists. Now, let me just say one thing about her claim about the silent majority in existence for She-Hulk. There is no silent majority, alright? Basically, everyone spoke up about the show. Some people, some people like this. Some people love She-Hulk. Let's not lie about that, alright? But most people actually despise this show. I mean, the Rotten Tomatoes score says all, and I know Rotten Tomatoes is Rotten Tomatoes. I get that too. But when you talk to anybody about She-Hulk and their experience, it really tends to be, it was a terrible show, the writing was subpar, the acting was just out of this, crazy way from Tatiana, where it just did not fit the character or the comics that they grew up with. It didn't really feel like the character per se, the way it was actually executed in live action. So overall, I mean, it really just goes to show you that this is all a type of behavior coming out of her many missed roles, her many missed cameos, including her roles in Deadpool and Wolverine that we've discussed for several months now. It's been an ongoing problem for the production of Deadpool and Wolverine that really kind of got in the way. It was a bit of a nuisance for them to deal with Tatiana, but overall, I would love to hear what you all have to say about this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.